Yo, what's going on, guys? Crispy Flakes here. For today's video, we are going to be taking a look at Derrick Rose and the Detroit Pistons. While this isn't like extremely breaking news, it's actually something I saw, I believe it was yesterday or the day before. It turns out the Pistons are going to be looking to trade Derrick Rose around the NBA trade deadline, guys. So they're going to start the season off with him. I don't know if you guys have seen any footage at all, but Derrick Rose has actually been going out there and mentoring Killian. It's been fantastic to watch and stuff like that. So yeah, man, for today's video, we are going to see where the Pistons are at around the trade deadline, you know, how Killian is progressing as a player, what Derrick Rose is looking like. Then we are going to try to figure out a good, solid trade to get Derrick Rose, hopefully on a contending team, right, man? So before we get going on today's video, if you guys don't mind dropping that like and, of course, subscribing if you're new to the channel. And yes, man, if making this video, guys, basketball starts tonight. I know it's preseason, but as a Piston fan, you know our preseason team is going to be about as good as our regular season team. So I'm all for it, guys. For me, basketball starts tonight, right, man? The road to Cade Cunningham begins. So let's go ahead and get going on this video. So yeah, look at the Detroit Pistons roster right now. You obviously got Blake Griffin. Ideally, I would love if the Pistons were able to trade Blake Griffin also by the trade deadline, but I think due to having that you know, that player option that second season, it's probably not going to happen. I feel like I feel like it's going to go one or two ways. Like, either the Pistons are just completely going to do absolutely horrible and Derrick Rose gets traded by the trade deadline. I think D Rose can put numbers no matter what. Or, you know, like Blake Griffin's play like an all-star again. Derrick Rose put up numbers. Maybe, you know, one of the new additions like Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee are playing nice. Kind of laugh saying that last part. And they end up being like, hey, like we can kind of go for the 8th spot out there in the Eastern Conference. It's probably not going to happen. I would say even if the Pistons do play, you know, as a team that could get the 8th seed, if Blake Griffin and Derrick Rose both have trade value around the trade deadline, you trade both these guys, in my own humble opinion, man. Like, no matter what. So, because it's like you don't really want to fight for that 8th seed. That's the point of kind of going into a full-on rebuild, is so you don't have to do that, right? So, but yeah, as far as the rest of the team goes, we got Jeremy Grant, of course. We got Mason Plumlee, Jahlil Okafor, DeLon Wright, Killian Hayes. So excited to watch this kid get mentored by Derrick Rose. He's actually going to be starting too, man. Like, they're going to start Killian Hayes over Derrick Rose, which is no, like, big-time surprise. D Rose last season started off the bench just because, like, well, for one, he obviously has injury history, as we all know about. And number two, man, it's just like, you know, you don't really want D Rose playing starter minutes for the duration of an entire 82-game season, or 72 games in this case, just because, like, that's going to be horrible for his body, right, man? So, yeah, we got Svi Mykhailiuk, Josh Jackson, Saddiq Bey, Sekou Doumbouya. I mean, for me personally, man, I'm pretty excited for the season. I know we're not going to win a lot of games, so it's whatever, but I'm happy my team kind of took some sort of direction where it's just like, okay, we're going to be a bad team. We got some nice rookies, but at the same time, we got guys like Blake Griffin, D Rose, perhaps a Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, that are going to hopefully play better due to being on a bad team and maybe up their trade value a little bit, you know, in the future, right? So that should be kind of fun to watch. So yeah, let's get going on this simulation before we get to all this trade talk out here. And the first thing we wanted to make sure is that, yes, Derrick Rose will be mentoring Killian Hayes. As you can see, some of the badges or some of the focuses that they'll be working on: fearless finisher, acrobat, and difficult shot. So Killian Hayes, as far as like a playmaker, I think has potential to be one of the best playmaking point guards in the NBA if everything pans out for him. But as far as like finishing at the basket, there's no better point guard to teach you about that than Derrick Rose, right? Like, D Rose just knows how to use his body to finish and kind of weave around the defenders and all that stuff. So that's the aspect I'm excited for. It's just, you know, Killian Hayes developing his offensive side of the, you know, on the offensive side of the ball with Derrick Rose's help. So that will be really fun to watch, man. But yes, looking at the rotation, I'm thinking it's probably going to look something like this: D Rose, DeLon Wright, Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, Mason Plumlee. I guess there's a chance that Jeremy comes off the bench, but I mean, you're paying him $20 million a season. I'd rather him to like develop and stuff. Not really, I guess develop's not the right word, but at least play. Like, I don't want to pay a guy $20 million to come off the bench. So I mean, he is like 26, so he's already like entering his prime of his basketball. So you don't really develop anymore. We kind of know what Jeremy Grant is. But yeah, I would play him with really the ideal hope that eventually Blake Griffin were to get traded. If it's to happen, probably next season would be my guess, though. And then, you know, I would eventually like to have a guy like Sekou Doumbouya get some more minutes out there, right? He definitely has to get some minutes. So, as far as my rotation goes, let's down that a little bit. Yeah, Killian Hayes is going to start over Derrick Rose, so we're going to make sure that's happening. So let's lower his minutes to about 26 for D Rose, and we'll get Killian at about 30 minutes per game while I'm playing a little bit more. We got Jahlil. Don't think he's got to be exactly the 6th man. That's going to be D Rose, no doubt. Let's go ahead and get some minutes to Saddiq Bey. I really want him to start developing this season, so about 20 minutes a game for him seems about right. And we got 22 more minutes. I mean, Doumbouya, one of the youngest players in the NBA, really wanted to work on his chemistry, you know, with Killian Hayes and stuff. So although he's going to be coming off the bench, hopefully those guys still get to play together and stuff, right, man? So, yeah, I don't think Blake Griffin will quite be playing 35 minutes a game. Going to be about 31. Let's get Jeremy at about 33 so we can continue to develop him. You right there and you right there. And for me, man, that's my ideal lineup. I mean, you know, all things considered, I would even personally like to see Isaiah Stewart play over Jahlil Okafor, but I do think that Stewart's going to be a few years of a project. So maybe we'll get some, he'll obviously get some minutes in the offseason and stuff, or in the preseason. So we'll see about that. There's just obviously not enough room for like everybody to play in this rotation, right? And then of course, if LiAngelo Ball does make the lineup, or make the roster, I should say, I want him playing too, man. So hopefully that there's a case for that. But I do think the starting five looks something like this, guys. So we'll kind of see about that. As far as the system, we got a 2.5-star perimeter centric. I don't really like that at all for this team. I would prefer just like a balanced system, just like, you know, play to everybody's strengths and stuff. But it's not a great starting five. I mean, I don't really know if I even like Grant at the small forward position, but you can't really play him at power forward because then you got Blake Griffin, Jeremy Grant, and Sekou Doumbouya all fighting for that for that 4-spot minutes out there. You don't really like that. We'll see though, man. I mean, DeLon Wright, I think he's like a decent shooter. I don't think he's anything spectacular. How old is he now? 28? Damn, he's already getting old, guys. What's his 3-point shot? He's got a 83 3-point shot, so he should be nice at that 2 spot. So we'll see, man. Let's get going on the simulation though before we check out some of these trades. We want to go to March 24th, which is the day before the NBA trade deadline. And yeah, I mean, I guess to put it negatively, like the worst possible thing that would happen is that we wait until the trade deadline to trade Derrick Rose, but he gets injured. And it's like all of a sudden he's just injured, right? And nobody's going to trade for an injured point guard that can't play for the rest of the season or is limited. So it's like he would obviously be off his contract next year and we would get nothing for him, right, man? So I think flipping D Rose by the trade deadline is the ultimate choice. And do I think it will happen? Hopefully so. But like I was saying with Blake Griffin, I just don't think, like I said, unless Blake Griffin is literally putting up all-star numbers, no team's going to take him on because having to deal with that next year player option, which he's probably going to accept, you would have to think. Or maybe he doesn't care about money. Maybe he's like, I got enough money, I'm good to go, and he just wants to find happiness, right, guys? So we'll kind of see about that one. But I don't know. I'm excited for the season regardless. Like I said, man, we all got to find our happiness when it comes to our basketball teams some way. And mine is just watching development. I mean, personally speaking, like when I first started watching basketball back in the day, one of my favorite times was actually watching the preseason because I love seeing guys that typically don't get to play and just kind of getting like a feel for like, you know, who's going to be good, you know, who's the it factor out there. Because when you are in a rebuild, it's like it's just fun seeing like, okay, is this guy ready? Like is Sadiq Bey gonna be part of the future? Like is LiAngelo Ball, is he showing that thing out there that's gonna make him a special player in the future? So we'll kind of see about all that, guys. But looking at the record, currently a record of 18 and something because I can't see because literally 18 and 38, which makes us 14th in the ranking. Which I think that's conference ranking. Okay, I thought it was overall. Yeah, that's not good. We are 30th for the power rank, so that's fantastic, man. But yes, so at this point, we are looking at player stats of Derrick Rose. This is perfect, man. 19 points, 5 assists per game. Those are really good numbers. We got Blake Griffin at 18, 6, and 4. Not bad. His field goal percentage is really low, 41%. That's going to be because his 3-point tendency is all screwed up in this game. 27% from 3 off 9 attempts. He would not shoot that bad or that many threes. But yeah, and then we got Killian Hayes, 15 points, 6 assists. That's him as the full-time starting point guard. Overall, man, I'm good. Like Jeremy Grant, these are not like great numbers for a $20 million player. Hopefully, he can do something a little bit better than that. But yeah, let's see what type of trade we could definitely get for Derrick Rose now, man. So here we go, D Rose. Let's see what's offered up. I'm looking for a draft pick, perhaps something along those lines. Here we got a 2nd-round pick, D Rose for Seth Curry, and a draft pick. Seth Curry doesn't really help the Pistons rebuild, so I'm not going to pass on that one. Bobby Portis, no. Lauri Markkanen, don't really see the Bulls doing that. Well, okay, if we also give him a 1st-round pick, because I was like, they get D Rose back on the Bulls, but I don't think they would give Lauri Markkanen unless he just was playing completely bad. Plus, the Pistons don't need another power forward. We got Larry Nance, Daniel Tice, Tyus Jones. We got a 1st-round pick from the Hawks. Miami Heat. Okay, I can see a team like the Miami Heat doing this. Maybe Kendrick Nunn takes a little bit of like a sophomore slump, and all of a sudden you go into the postseason with D Rose and Goran Dragic. Could be interesting. Plus, we get an expiring contract with Myers Leonard. I like that trade so far. Devontae Graham, Utah Jazz trade. Not doing that. I I like this trade. I don't really see the Knicks doing it. Plus, I don't want to give up a first-round pick. We got KCP. Don't want him back on the Pistons, so sorry, Laker fans. Not happening. First-round pick in Dwight Powell on a 3-year deal. Don't like that contract for a guy that just came off a lower body injury. Will Barton. Don't really need another small forward. Yeah, I like this. Lonzo Ball. There's not really room for him, though, because we already got Killian Hayes, so we don't really want to create that point guard, fight right there, or that battle, whatever you want to call it. Houston Rockets trade, no. Phoenix Suns, not bad getting a draft pick out of it. Derrick Rose coming off the bench with CP3 could be kind of fun to watch, or behind CP3, I should say. Portland, Golden State Warriors, and the Washington Wizards. Okay, out of all these trades, I feel like the one that makes the most sense would be the Miami Heat. You get a draft pick out of it, first rounder, that's nice. Myers Leonard expiring, and D Rose goes helps out, Jimmy Butler. I think he fits in with that culture over there really nicely, man. So we are going to do this trade, and that's the one we're going to go with. And then all of a sudden, man, the Pistons don't really got much for a backup point guard. So maybe they would even be able to convince, the Miami Heat to let us have, like, Kendrick Nunn or something. Probably not, but, a guy can wish, right? And, yeah, Myers Leonard, I think he would probably get bought out in this case. Who really knows? But, definitely opens up some minutes to some other guys. And I feel like at this point, you just kind of play out the season. We don't really have a backup point guard. So, Killian Hayes, we going all out, man. We give you that Tom Thibodeau, Derrick Rose treatment out there, playing a lot of minutes. So, that should be fine. And by fine, I mean not really. You don't got to play that much Mason, I'm sorry to say. Let's get these guys developing some more. And there we have it, man. So, let's finish off the simulation of this season. It's already almost over with, kinda. So, simulate through date. Ideal circumstance, Griffin would get traded, but probably not going to happen, man. So, yeah, I guess if you are at this point in this video, man, let me know in the comment section below. What are the expectations for your favorite team next season? For Detroit, I already kind of talked about it. I said highest expectation that D Rose and Blake Griffin play like an all-star duo, and maybe they fight for like the 8th or 7th spot. Like, I don't see that being out of like the realm of possibility. Obviously, there'll be haters in the comments saying there's no way, Crispy, but towards I'm towards more like the end of the spectrum, saying probably the worst or one of the worst teams in the NBA, which I would definitely prefer. Next year's draft class is supposed to be extremely stacked, so a lot of great players out there that I would love to see them get. But a record of 24-57, definitely not in the playoffs with that. Finish the W on the season. Giannis, blah blah blah. We got LaMelo Ball, not LiAngelo Ball because he's not part of this rotation. He's not actually in the game because he's not technically in the NBA, man. But yeah, so not in the playoffs. Real quick here, go to the player stats on the season. We got Blake Griffin leading scorer, and the Killian Hayes rookie season, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 7 assists. If he does that, I will be ecstatic, man. Jahlil Okafor, third leading scorer, kind of surprised by that, to be honest. Actually, a lot of like 11 point per game scorers, which is kind of cool. Kind of what I'm expecting, just like a lot of balance from the team. I just hope Sadiq and Seiko really just continue to show like steps in the right direction and stuff, man. So real quick, simulate these playoffs so you guys can see who wins. But that is the end of the video. I do expect Derrick Rose to get traded by the trade deadline, maybe sooner. Who really knows? We'll kind of see. But that's all we got, man. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to drop that like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and peace out, my friends.